For more on this, David Des Roches, Associate Professor at the Near East South Asia Centre and the National Defence University, joins us now live from Washington, D.C. Great to see you, David. Just to reiterate these 2 points, we have President Biden in the last hour who has said the US will not provide F-16s to Ukraine, and Poland saying it's ready to supply Ukraine with F-16 fighters in coordination with NATO. What do you make of these 2 statements?
Well, I think what we've seen with the German drawing out the tank decision until the United States did it is that allies in Europe are concerned that they have to act in conjunction with the United States in providing advanced weaponry, or they feel that they might be vulnerable to some sort of Russian retaliation, either militarily or perhaps, I don't know, being denied energy supplies when a peace breaks out. So Olaf Scholz did a lot of damage to Germany's reputation by dithering over tanks. And I think he also, in the alliance, kind of set new ground rules. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Is this the scenario that we're looking at again? As you said, allies concerned that they have to act in conjunction with the US, and could the US change their minds and actually send F-16s directly to Ukraine?
Well, eventually, if Ukraine is going to endure as a sovereign nation, it's eventually going to have Western weaponry, and the best, cheapest, easily maintained aircraft is the F-16. It's kind of the NATO standard fighter. So eventually, Ukraine probably will have the F-16 if it is to remain sovereign and independent. But the question is, right now in time of war, we're at a risk of overwhelming a very limited Ukrainian logistical base with too many different types of equipment. And, it feels good to send all this stuff, but really what they need are equipment that's similar to what they already have in the short term.
And with this talk now of F-16 fighter jets, what difference would they actually make to Ukraine? We know we've been hearing President Zelenskyy from the beginning say we need to defend our skies as almost a mantra.
Well, they need more jets, they need more aircraft, they need more artillery, they need more tanks. The question is, do they have 15 different types of aircraft and the ability to only sustain 3 of them? That's actually a net negative. So, as I said, eventually, I think in 20 years, Ukraine will probably be identical to a Western model army, with Leopard tanks and with the F-16 and all that. But in the short term right now, that may not be the solution. I think what we need to do is try to find stuff that's compatible with the aircraft they can already maintain.
And just, looking at what is happening on the ground, how do you prevent another deadly scenario like what we had in Bakhmut, and also the Iranian-made drones that are being used? How is that stopped in the short term?
Well, there's
that's
two
what's killing
issues there.
people so much right now.
Yeah, exactly. So in the short term with the drones, that's the harder one because they're targeted at civilian infrastructure. And really, it's, no country has the ability to station an anti-aircraft gun at every electricity substation in this country or every apartment building. So I think there's 2 things that have to be done. First, there needs to be a focus on resiliency and protection. And what that means is with pumping stations, perhaps building fences around it, sandbagging and hardening infrastructure. That doesn't do a whole lot for apartment buildings. The second on that is deterrence, that there needs to be some sort of punishing attack against Russian interests to deter them from launching explosives at apartment buildings. Bakhmut, on the other hand, is just a more reminiscent of the Battle of Verdun in 1917 than anything else. It's just grinding it out. And I think the best thing we could do is supply the Ukrainians with more conventional artillery and more long-range artillery and the ammunition to fire in excess of Russian ammunition fire.
David Des Roches speaking to us there from the Near East South Asia Centre and the National Defence University. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Mary.